Hi folks, welcome. It is Friday night, June 21st, and in 4 days it'll be June 25. So if you divide the year into two halves, you have the first 6 months, and then after that you have the second 6 months. So this would be the Christmas day in 4 days on the second 6 months. So the reason I'm saying this is on the big channel I put out a video on the Nikon Z6 Mark III. And I had actually 3 comments about Christmas. So that means it's new viewers, because you guys that watch me since 2008 or even earlier, the Christmas room has been my set. That's just my shtick. It's my thing. It actually he looks sleepy, says Randy. Mook says no audio, but I actually see audio. So if we're having a problem with the audio, somebody needs to tell me pretty quick, because according to the board, I'm not. Can you hear me? Hi, Sammy. All right, let's go back up to the top. And just for grins and giggles, off the audio and turn it on. All right, now if everybody is getting audio and you're not, reboot your whatever you're watching me on, okay? So let's see. All right, so let's go up to the top. Sammy says I sound amazing. All right, so let's go. Oh, we've got Australia here in the house. Hi, Jeff. It is 4 days before the June Christmas. Now, you know what the marketing does. They make a Christmas in July. And the reason for that is sales, right? So you've got Memorial Day, and then you've got July 4th at the beginning of July. And then you've got a need for a holiday. So we do Christmas in July. But the real truth is the calendar is divided into 12 months, and then if you take half of that, it's 6. So it's really Christmas in June. And since it's the 21st, I hope you guys got your tree up and your Christmas lights on, or you just got a happy spirit deep inside over here, okay? Because what you carry inside here actually makes up what kind of a day you're going to have. So it's important to be happy inside. So hi, Jeff. Afternoon, Peter. And all good to be here. Hope all is well. Yep, I'm doing better. I'm actually feeling better. I have my teeth kind of like a little bit of a crutch. Okay, but my throat is doing better. But in the middle of the night, I'll get like a little bit of a coughing spat, and then it'll go away. Then I can go to sleep. See, the thing is, if you can't get a good night's sleep, guess what? You're screwed. Okay, so you need to get a good night's sleep. So Mookie is waiting for the show to begin. Okay, Mookie, you can wake up now, buddy. You could wake up. I'm telling you to wake up. The show is on. I'm here. I'm talking. And here is my buddy saying hello, everybody. And Randy says he looks sleepy. I don't know how my sleepy would look. I took an early afternoon nap, like at 3-4. So I vacuumed, showered, unloaded the dishwasher so that tonight when I'm finished, I can load the dishwasher. I swept the floor. Did something outside, but honest to God, I don't remember what it was. So my metabolism should be running fine. Now I'm a little more subdued, and the reason for being a little more subdued is I'm trying very carefully not to aggravate my throat. I don't want to go into a coughing fit and have to end the show because I don't have Sly sitting here on the side waiting to rescue me like she did last week. Thank you, Sly, so much. So remember, Sly moved her show from Thursday night back to Friday night. So when I'm finished here, it'll just be a little bit of time, and on the East Coast time, which is where I'm at, it will be 11:30. And if you're in Oklahoma time, which I can't think of anybody who lives in Oklahoma. Who in their right mind would live in Oklahoma? I have no idea, okay? But Oklahoma time, it'll be 10:30. So it'll be half hour after I'm done if I end at 11. So there's two possibilities there. And the two possibilities are I go into a coughing problem, and we'll just have to go because I have to cough it out. It's kind of like a piece of phlegm that won't come out, and it stays. And because it stays, you cough and cough and cough and cough. And then what? You cough some more. So I got a little bit of tea. I'm subdued rather than my loud, aggressive announcer talk. Okay, and but I don't feel sleepy. My eyes are not droopy. So Randy's just trying to wake me up. So Mookie says no audio, but I think he got that fixed. I cheated and looked ahead. And Gregory, one of my favorite names ever, Gregory. Love you, Gregory. Thank you for being here. If I had a living son here, a new one, I would name him Gregory. How's that? Does that speak highly of your name, Greg? Anyway, and no, don't let your mind start running because it's not what you think, okay? So after Greg is Sammy, Bo Sammy, banana nana for Sammy, fee fi for Sammy. Everybody together now. Sammy. Love you, Sammy. Love you lots. So Sammy will be busy, quite busy the next week. He told me, Peter, you can't be calling me every 2 minutes. This table doesn't feel like it's sitting right. Let's move it. Never do this when you're live. That's kind of like the stupidest thing to do. Moving things, changing things when you're live. So if you're preparing to go live, try to get yourself set up as best as you can. And then just let it ride. At first, if something went bad, let's say I lost my audio, one of the cameras died, which it can do that, I would freak out. So lean on my experience. Don't freak out. It doesn't matter. People will be kind of like they have to tell you. Okay. I will have to do a cough like that every once in a while. So I'll say excuse me now for the whole night. They'll have to tell you, your audio is out. You lost your picture. Something is bad. This is bad. Well, I've got some people, and I got my phone on because if one of them call, like Sammy is a moderator, Randy is a moderator, they got my phone number. They'll call me and they'll tell me that there's a problem. I will answer the phone for them. Anybody else that likes to call me during the show, like my family seems to love to call me while I'm live on a show. Oh, by the way, this is the Fuji, what's the name of it? I always get the name XH2. It's a nice camera. I can actually recommend it if you were a Fuji aficionado, okay? Let's say you like Fuji and you want to know if this is a good camera. Yes, it is. Would I buy this camera? I wouldn't buy it, not because I'm dogging or, kicking Fuji down. it is, okay? Because he wouldn't text me. Okay, all right, so Sammy is telling me that the Sony has sound, but not the Canon. Okay, so I could tell you what's going on here. And this is what's going on, all right? So let me give you a little bit of a, I guess like a little bit of a lesson on running Ecamm, okay? So now what camera are we on? Now you can see everything that I could see. When I'm sitting here, what you're looking at right now, I'm looking at, okay? So now you see the middle here. Can you see my mouse? First of all, I'm going round and round with the mouse. All right, so here's where the audio is running through. It's running through the Blackmagic ATEM because I never switched it off of there. It got put on there and it stayed there. Okay. Now it seems that the Canon is the one that's giving a problem. So let's go find it. Okay, so which camera is this? That one is the Sony. So see how I can see the green meters here? That means as I talk, it comes and bumps up to the white spot. And if I be's quiet, it goes all the way down to the bottom. Okay? So now when it goes to the next camera, it's going to supposedly not change. And you see how I got audio there? Can you see the green meter? Okay, now let's go to the Panasonic. All right, so the Panasonic is actually got a meter running. So the sound is coming through. Now let's go to the Guest. The Guest has sound. Now, here's the one that Sammy just texted me, and he said there's no sound. Actually, Jim Monday. Hi, Jim. Just texted me and said that on the Canon. So let's go over to the Canon real quick. See how the Canon was muted? All right, so because over to the right side here, see the lock? See where the mouse is? On the Canon is the lock. So for some reason, and I can't tell you why, because maybe it's just one of those things that my brain did, I actually shut down the audio on the Canon, and it remembered it. So let's go back over to the Guest camera, which is the Fuji. Okay, and by the way, they want the Fuji back, okay? Which means when it arrives back at B&H, they're going to examine me like I'm at a doctor's office, okay? And they're going to look and see how many people I sent to B&H. So if you want to help me, I put a link for this camera in the description. You don't even have to be interested in the camera. What I need you to do is click on that link, go to B&H, smile while you're over there, and then go your merry way. So what'll happen is they'll register I have a number with B&H. They'll register that my number sent someone to B&H. They don't violate your privacy or anything, because I used to think, oh, I don't want them to know where I'm going. I don't want them to know where I've been. No, they trace my number, not yours, okay? So if you want to help me, you click on the link, because as soon as the Fuji goes back, I'm going to request another camera, and they're going to judge me. I'm going to get judged. I'm going to get judged, okay? And they're going to look and see how many people came to B&H using my number, okay? See, now you know the insides. The same thing happens when somebody buys using my link. So let's say Randy or Sly or Sammy or somebody buys something, but they come over here, click on my link first. Even if it's not a live show, they just got to get there using my B&H number or the Adorama number, because I got things for Adorama down there too. Okay, then they will track that and they will give me a commission based on my number, because you went there using my number. Interesting? Probably not. All right, so now since we seem to have sound, I'm going to turn off the demo mode because it's a little bit better when we get up close and personal. Don't you like being up close and personal? Some people don't like being up close and personal. Now, I don't usually violate a person's space, you know, like there's a space. So if somebody goes like, stop, that's not my space. But if they go, you, and it's right up to my nose, you're kind of in my space, dude. Okay, now I don't violate anybody's space, unless I want to hug them. If I want to hug them or pat them on the shoulder, that's a violation of space. But at that point, usually the person will accept the hug or the pat or the encouragement. So now I can feel my throat getting a little bit dry. I'm getting better, so don't worry about it. Just have to take care of business. Right, Osvaldo? I say Osvaldo because he's a friend. And he said that people were just drinking to look cool. Well, I'm not drinking to look cool. I'm actually trying to wet my throat down. So this is a very super weak tea. When I say weak, I dropped the tea bag in it 3 or 4 times to give it a little bit of a flavor. It's green tea. And it's decaffeinated because I don't want to fly around all night long, okay? So I have a little bit of honey in there, which is not supposed to be something I take, but it kind of coats your throat and smooths it out. Kind of like doing a sucker, or what do they call that, a cough drop or something. So let's get back to business. We got audio. I'll keep an eye on it in case something else happens. But if something else happens, somebody will text me. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Sammy. See, friends always have your back. So when you make friends, make some really good ones, because they'll probably be with you a long, long time, number one. They'll love you most through anything. I mean, I can't say everything, but, you know, they'll stand by your side. And it's a darn good feeling. I think friends are fantastic. All right, so we finished with the audio. Sleepy, the name Gregory, hello for Sammy. Mookie, he got it figured, but it wasn't your fault. See, Mookie, it wasn't your fault after all. When it switched to the Sony, it dropped out, but then it came back. So it fooled you and it fooled me, okay? So Gregory says, I can hear you. Hey, Gregory, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Maybe I'll write a commercial. Hey, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Thanks, Greg. I appreciate it. Sammy says you sound amazing. Sammy is so awesome. I can't tell you guys how awesome Sammy is. Don't make any judgments about him. He's the nicest kid you're ever going to meet, okay? He's not your standard 20-year-old, 19, whatever it is. He's very caring. He's very loving. And he sticks. He sticks as a friend. Doesn't just, oh, I'll talk to him in 3 weeks. Actually, if I don't talk to Sammy, he gets a little annoyed. And I do try to connect up with all my friends in one way or another. So, Jeff, I would love the Z6 III, but at just over $4,000 in Australia, it's out of my price range. I wonder why there's that much of a price difference. It's got to be the monetary stuff. I'm going to talk to you about the Z6 Mark III in a minute. I wrote some stuff down. It's right here. I've been working on this sheet. Actually, what is today? Friday. And when did the camera get announced? Was it Tuesday? Monday or Tuesday? So I've been working on this since. So since I started and stuck my foot in my mouth, let me tell you what this piece of paper is. So I made a video on the Z6 Mark III on the big channel, okay? And it's doing pretty good. So, you know, what do they say? Strike while the iron is hot. So since the Z6 III is actually very in demand, let's put it that way, and the views are flying, you know what kind of videos do really, really well? My 10 favorite things or my 10 least favorite things. So I've been making a list, which I basically have completed now since Wednesday night, because I've been watching different people. Oh, by the way, Randy actually went and saw the camera. in person. He held it. And if you look at his channel, when I'll remind you when I put it up, you can actually see Randy having some stuff with a real live Z6 Mark III. They brought it to the camera store near him. He's in Texas. So, and I'm interested in people like you guys that I know, because when I watch all these people, you know, I like Chris, Nichols, and Jordan, and all these other people. There's some people I really don't like, but we're not negative here, so we don't go down the list of the people I don't like. But one of the people that I like their talk, but I don't know if I'd like them as a friend. I don't know them well enough. It's not a judgment call, okay? But I just like what they spit out, and that's Gerald Undone, okay? So I guess the best question, if you were standing here, you say, why do you like Gerald? Okay, because I'm getting information fed to me that I really want to hear. Therefore, you go there. That's what I do. I don't watch a lot of camera people. Most of the camera people that I do watch are actually my friends, okay? All these other people, it's all about views. Now that I said that, I'm going to sting myself in the butt. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do for views. So I have compiled a list for my video, the top 10 favorite features of the Nikon Z6 Mark III. Now, I don't know how to deal with that because I've got 20 things on the list, okay? So do I leave it at my top 10 and just make bonus after bonus after bonus? You know, it's the title that'll bring people in. Oh, here's the top 10 list. And if I keep going past the 10, I don't think that many people will mind. And then I have not like the top 5 that I hate, because that's kind of got a negative connotation. How about if we do it more like what I wrote down is things that need attention, okay? So what should I do first? I'm going to tell them to you. That's what I'm going to do. Let's do the top 5 that need attention, because it's really not that much, okay? So I haven't set these up in any kind of an order, so it's what popped into my mind. So maybe it is in order, and it's subconsciously I don't realize it's in order. It's in order. All right. So the Z6 Mark III doesn't have shutter angle. That was the first thing I was looking for when they were announcing the camera, because photography, you look for one thing, and in my case, what I'm looking for, I look for it hard. Okay. And in video, which I basically moved over to video. I take pictures, but you know what? They don't go anywhere. I look at them and go, what a nice picture I took, and that's it. So, you know, the top 5 things is no shutter angle. All right. Now, the next one you're going to think is silly, but boy, have I been hungering for this one. There's no find feature in the camera menu like Siri. So if I go to here and I say, Siri, show me where my something app is, and it'll show it to me. Well, I need that on the camera. It takes me forever to find things in the menu. So that needs attention. I wrote that down. There's no option for a no cropping choice when you're in the DX mode. So the DX mode puts the camera in the 1.5 crop. Now, the camera we were just looking at is Eleanor, which is my current favorite camera, okay? Now, with Eleanor, which, let's go over to it, so since I'm talking about her, okay? Might as well put her front and center. All right, so on Eleanor, if I put, I don't have a lens here, but if I put a crop sensor lens on Eleanor, it's one of the very few, if maybe only, I should never say never, right? It's one of the very, very few that doesn't drop you into a crop sensor mode. So what's the advantage of that? The advantage of that is absolutely huge, because when I put on the strongest image stabilization, it crops. Now, if I did that on my Panasonic or on this Nikon Z6 III, okay, or on the Canon R6 Mark II, which we'll get to in a moment. All right, this one's already a crop sensor. Okay, and then I want to use the IBIS, the built-in IBIS, which has its own crop. I'm getting double crop, and I don't want double crop. I want just a kiss of crop, just what I need. So when, like, Randy sent me an 11mm 1.5 crop lens for Eleanor, for the E1, ZV E1. Now, when I put that lens, when I put Randy's lens on Eleanor, it doesn't crop. I actually get the black ring, which you'll say, oh, but Peter, that's crazy. Who would want that? But keep your pantyhose on 1 second, okay? When I put it over into the dynamic active crop mode, which is the Sony crop mode that basically kills a gimbal. I mean, you don't need a gimbal when you put it in dynamic active mode. Well, it crops. Now, if the camera was already in crop mode and then I put it in dynamic active crop mode, I'm double cropping. So with any camera here, it double crops, no matter which one it is, except the ZV E1, Eleanor. I named her, okay? So the Z6 doesn't have an option for don't crop, dude, all right? Because it's got an 8-stop image stabilization, which means it's going to have a hefty crop. So we'll be double cropping on the Z6 III. All right, the next thing I wrote down for things that need attention is as a professional photographer, wedding photographer, portrait photographer, blah, 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 okay, I've used quite a few of the Nikon cameras, the D3, D3X, D800E, which is a fantastic camera, all right? They have a feature on those cameras that's not on the Z6 III that I know of. So anybody like Randy that has had hands-on, you could tell me if I'm wrong, because I really would like this feature. But they have it so if you push 2 buttons that are pre-selected at the same time, it drops you right into a format mode. No menu required. Push these 2 buttons, you can format your card. So at a wedding, okay, I'll put in a fresh card. First thing I do is I format the card. So in order to format the card, I have to go into a menu in all of these cameras. All the cameras I got in here, got to go into a menu, find it. I usually put it on the My Menu section so I can get to it quickly. Not on the Nikon. Nikon has had it on the D3, D3X, D800, D800E. All of the pro level cameras. Not on the ZF. And I don't remember if I looked on Randy's Z8 because he brought the Z8 here for me to play with. Okay. But I want that on the Z6 Mark III. I want to push 2 buttons and drop right into the crop mode. That should be there. It's a very professional feature. Okay. It only has 3 preset options on the mode dial. Whoa, $2,500 camera. So that's actually categorizing that camera as a professional level camera. You don't just happenstance buy a $2,500 camera because you're in the mood, unless you've got money coming out of your ears. In that case, no problem. You could do that. It's not a problem. However, 3 presets is not enough for that category of a camera. Okay, enough said on that one. All right, the next one is it doesn't have a lock everything mode. Now, if you're a casual photographer or videographer and you're doing this and you bump something, you'll probably recognize it. So like over here, this is the wheel. If my hand taps that, I've changed my settings, okay? So not Nikon, the Canon, when we get over to the other side, the Canon R6 Mark II, that's a Randy cam, okay? It actually has a switch on it that you just turn that switch on. You've locked the camera down, baby. So if I'm sitting here next to Isaiah, a friend of mine, Isaiah is a friend of mine, okay, and oh, can I see your camera? Okay, here. Now I'm fidgety because I don't want anything changed. So before I would hand the camera over to Isaiah, I would put it into the lock mode. On the Canon R6 Mark II, you could do that. And then I know Isaiah can't change anything when I get the camera back. As long as we're still in the lock mode, he didn't change nothing, honey. So that's one of the things that needs to be on the R6 Mark III. I named it wrong. The Z6 Mark III. Okay. The next thing I have and things that need attention is... All right, this is petty, but I'm being petty. I want to be petty right now. Okay? That's the one. The R6 Mark II has got a lock mode. A single lever will put it in a lock mode. Okay? So, what is this? What is this stuff that's dangling around? It's kind of like a guy in a swimsuit and you're too loose. You need something tighter, dude, to hold you nice and firm. What is that? On a professional level camera? Okay, look at the, when we get to Eleanor. Got a nice strap holder built in so that you can actually put a hand strap on it. A person at a $2,500 level camera, price level camera, is much more likely to be using a hand strap than a strap that just goes around your neck. That's like a consumer-oriented thing. And this is designed for the little strap that goes around your neck, and it makes noise. No, not acceptable. Okay? I mean, I have to counterbalance it and give some negative things when I make that video, which is why I'm doing this. And the very last thing that I put on there is a camera that level needs to have anamorphic support. And you go like, whoa, Peter, I don't even know what anamorphic is. If you do, you would want the camera to support it. And the Z6 Mark III does not have anamorphic support. You can... Anamorphic means it's one of those lenses that squishes everything, and then the camera has to de-squish it, okay? Or the workaround for that, let's say you do really want to use anamorphic lenses, okay, is when you get into Final Cut Pro or DaVinci Resolve or whatever else you're using, you de-squeeze it manually. It can be done. It's not a problem. I put that on my list of 5 things that needs attention. Now, when I make the video, I'm going to go through them quickly because I don't want it to be like a 20-minute video. I want it to be like a 4-minute video. So I'll go, these are 5 things that I think it needs attention. It has no shutter angle, and for a video camera, it should. Number 2, it needs a find feature, like Siri, okay? Hey, Siri, show me where the clock app is. Now, Siri, ignore that.
To unlock your iPhone first.
See? The camera, I should be able to talk to it. Hey, Nikon, show me where the ISO adjustment is. No, that wouldn't be doing that, okay? Hey, Nikon, show me where the skin softening is. Now, I will take a long time to find where the skin softening is in the menus. Or I should be able to push a button and say, hey, Nikon, show me where the clarity slider is. And it just pops it up. I mean, the phone does it. I'm being dramatic, okay? The telephone does it. Hey, Siri, who's my best friend?
You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
My best friend is locked up. Imagine that. All right, so that's my 5 words. Now, let's get into the positive side. You notice how I'm getting louder and louder? That's why the T is here, and that's why I started off, like Randy said, you look sleepy. I'm not sleepy. I'm trying to be relaxed. Maybe it makes for a better show. Maybe I should do that all the time. All right, here's my top 10 features. Let's see if I can get through this a little bit faster. My top 10 features. Feature number 1, the camera has a full flippy screen. Yes. Feature number 2, that's a plus. It has a full HDMI port. Yes. Feature number 3, it's full frame 24p, 30p, and 60p. 120p is almost full frame, but you have to drop out of 4K. Should that be a negative, or is that okay? I have it in the positive because it's giving you what you need. People will have to argue about. That's where they'll nail me. Okay, they'll say, "Oh, Peter, you're so stupid. You should have." That's why God gave you 2 ears. In this ear, guess where it comes out? See, it just fell out the other ear. Okay. Basically, the Z6 Mark III is a baby Z8. It's a baby $4,000 camera. Is it exactly? No. Does it claim to be exactly? No. I'm the one. It's my opinion that's saying it's a baby Z8. Now, it might have your favorite feature missing from the Z8, but dang, it works like a Z8, and that ain't a bad thing. It's a very good thing. All right, my number 6 favorite thing is they've spent a lot of attention to flattering skin options in the menus. It's got soft skin, it's got a clarity slider, it's got a highlights and shadows control. All of these things allow you to control the skin. Skin is very important. This Nikon Z6, which is what, a 7-year-old camera? It does great on skin. It really does. And some of the cameras that I have here don't. Okay? Now, Eleanor does, just so you know. That's one of the reasons I like that ZVE1 that we just switched over here. I think we have a skin smoothing option on this camera too. So that was number 6. They have paid attention to menu options for flattering looking skin because you get all kinds. You get a young guy, a boy, zits everywhere. You need help. The camera should give you the help. Okay, number 7, the IBIS, the in-body stabilization. It allows you to choose to follow the focus point in your viewfinder instead of just the center point. So you know when you see IBIS and it's got wobbly on the left side of the screen and on the right side, that's because it's doing its IBIS from the very, very center of the frame. Well, the Z6 operates a little different. Okay, so does the Z8, so does the ZF. Okay, wherever your focus point is, that will be the center point for your IBIS. That's a plus. Okay. Number 8, the focus system is designed for very low light work. Okay, and for me as a wedding photographer, an event photographer, that is a huge feature. That should actually be my number 1, because you know on the flash units where it has that little red light that lights up, that infrared light, those got disabled when we went to mirrorless. For 2 reasons. Sometimes you don't have access to the center. You don't have access to the sensor. I see I would edit that out, but this is live. What can I tell you? So you don't have access to the sensor. Number 1. So you can't use the infrared light. And number 2, the sensor has a built-in filter to filter out the red infrared light. So you've lost it. So as a wedding photographer, when it gets really dark, you need that. Now, what they've done here is they've done 2 things. Number 1, they've made it so that the camera will meter and focus down to a -10, which is like 3 times bigger than most other cameras. Looking at you, okay? And then it's got a separate complete focusing algorithm that'll allow you... No, it's not you. You don't have access to this. It does it inside, okay? The camera will drop into a black and white mode. It's got a separate algorithm. You will still continue to see color, okay? But it's got a separate algorithm that'll drop it down into a black and white mode and shoot the ISO up for that mode only way sky high, 25,000, 50,000. So it gives the camera enough light to focus in super low light. Now that is a reason itself to buy the camera if you are an event, wedding, sports photographer. Focus is important, okay? It's not claimed, All right, but Gerald Undone uncovers this kind of crap. All right, it's got dual ISO, where if you go ISO 3200, it gets noisy. ISO 4000, it gets noisier. ISO 5000, the Z63 will get quite noisy. ISO 6400, all of a sudden it's clean. What's that about? That means it's got a dual ISO algorithm. That's number 9. Number 10, Gerald Undone purposely paid attention for the overheating. There was no noticeable overheating, except in one spot when I watched him. I watched his video the first night because that's where I get the best input into my brain. I should go up here. Okay. And the only place he was able to get the camera to do any kind of an overheating, and it didn't overheat, it actually gave him the warning, was when he was shooting 120 for like some insane period of time, like 30 minutes. Okay, so that is crazy all by itself. Number 11, so we're over the 10 now. These are all bonus. It has a partial stack sensor. Okay, so a stack sensor is not one piece. You better pay attention where I'm showing you this. The sensor, that my hand is the sensor. I'm pretending my hand is the sensor. Okay, so a sensor actually operates everything on the front. Everything. Wiring, the light pixels, everything on the front. That's the sensor. Okay, now take that and modify it. And take the wiring off of the front and move it to the back. Okay, that's all. That's called backside illumination. Now it allows them to make the pixels a little bit bigger because if you've got the 2 pixels and there's wire going between these two, okay. Now if the wire's gone, you can make a bigger pixel and move them closer together. So when you see the term backside illumination, that means they took all the wiring off the front of the sensor and moved it to the back. So it's back wired. But you know these guys that are paid big bucks to come up with cool names? It's backside illuminated. Okay? So what's a stack sensor? Take the sensor again and take all the electronics, including the wiring, everything pertaining to the sensor, and put it on a second piece right behind it. And now it's stacked. This sensor comes in 2 parts. This is where all the pixels gather the light. Okay? This is where your wiring is and all the control, and it makes it so it can speed up getting the information because it'll move it from here to here, okay, and it can become a lot quicker. That's what a stack sensor is. So what's a partial stack sensor? So what they did is they took only the top part from here to here and only the bottom part from here to here and moved it to the stack sensor part. But they left the sensor, the center of the sensor work normally. So what's the advantage? The advantage is they're moving a certain percentage of the information off onto the partially stacked part. So it's going to actually make a huge improvement for rolling shutter. Because the faster you can get the stuff off, the faster you can move on to the next slide, image, whatever you want to call it, okay? And then the next thing is you have, when you've got the stack sensor, a dynamic range seems to suffer a little bit. I don't think it means a hill of beans, okay? Just to give you my own personal input, nothing, nada. It's a nothing burger. You like nothing burgers? I'll give you ketchup with it, okay? So they took just a section at the top, a section at the bottom, and they moved it over here. So they saved some money. They actually saved some heat, okay? Because now when you have less activity here, the heat is lowered. Remember, we don't want an overheating problem, okay? And they've reduced the rolling shutter, and they've given us the full range of the dynamic range. So it's quite unique, in my opinion. It's super cool. One of those things is like, I wish I would have thought of that. Okay. Number 12. It's open gate at 6K, but it does have a mode that you could put the camera in to make the camera faster, and it drops it from 6K to 5.4K, which is still better than your 4K readout. However, it's no longer open gate. It is now reading 16:9. So I have that in the positives or in the plus because I'd rather have that than not have it. Honestly, I want it. I want 16:9 is what you're looking at right now. Okay. The internet, YouTube, my tube, our tube, all run 16:9. Okay. Okay, number 13. It's got stuff built in specifically for event photography. I'm going to need to elaborate on that because I'm looking at it and it almost doesn't make sense to me. But if I look at it a little bit longer, it's got algorithms in there for fast-paced photography, slower blackout or faster blackouts. I think they even said almost no blackouts. So when you push the shutter button, you don't see for a second. Blackout. Okay, so that's where that comes from. So they have actually spent some engineering time on making the camera work faster. I put that as a plus, but I didn't write it down very well. All right. All right, so the next thing is number 14. The video, all the video that it does is on par with the top of the line Z8 minus the 8K. So you take the Z8, remove the 8K, and you've got like 98% of what it does. Not 100%. I'm sure there's stuff hidden in there that I didn't recognize. Okay, that it wasn't there. All right, top of the line feature number 15. So this is more for pictures. So like Woody, if you're watching tonight. It's got a feature you can turn on that's pre-shooting. So if you're birding, means if you're shooting birds or alligators or even a train or a car, it'll record up to, I think, 1 minute. Don't quote me on that because I'm not sure what the number is. Ahead of time, and when you press the shutter, it actually takes all those images and writes them to the card. So it's got a pre-shoot recording option for the photographer. For a certain type of photographer, that's a very in-demand feature. Okay. All right, the sensor readout speed, which I went over with a little bit already, and the dynamic range are at the top of the list instead of suffering, and I explained to you why when I talked about the partially stacked sensor. I think I might have to work this list over a little bit more because now that I'm reading it to you out loud, I could see where it could be a little bit easier. Okay. Number 17, the marketing department does not seem to have gotten their fingers in there. We need to leave. This is Canon's. This is Canon stick. If you're $2,500 price range, you don't get what's in the $4,000 camera. Okay. That's the marketing department. If it's $2,500, you're going to have to lose some features, special things. It looks like the marketing department hasn't had a chance to touch the Z6 III. There's things in it that basically shouldn't be there. That's why I'm calling it a baby Z8. A lot of things should have been subtracted at the $2,500 price point, and they're there. They didn't take them out. Top feature number 18, or one of my favorites, there's not an overheating issue. It doesn't have a fan, but no one has mentioned an overheating issue. That's a big zero. Okay? The only overheating issue, which is counteracting what I just said, all right? The only overheating issue was at the high frame rate, like of 120, not 60p. 60p went indefinitely until the battery died on Gerald's camera. And yes, he did have a camera. Okay, so no overheating issue. Okay, number 19 on my list of favorite things. Where am I over here? The Z system is very friendly and open to third-party lens makers. They're not like Canon where they slipped under the door, tricking all of us. Taking, who was it they took to court or threatened to take them to court if they didn't take all their lenses offline? Anything that's auto-focusing on a Canon, You have to get licensed from Canon. Now, where the YouTube guys are failing you and me is they're not telling you at what price. And who do you think's going to pay the price? You think Canon's going to pay it? You think Sigma is going to pay it, or Viltrox? You and I pay it, okay? So that's Canon's new deceptive marketing. Canon's problem is not their camera. Oh, there's some features that could get a little bit of a massage. Canon's problem is their management. The USA management stinks. They need to wipe them out and put managers that are in there that will take the camera and love it. Okay? Yeah, I'm giving a dig to the Canon management. They dig at me. So all is fair in love and war. Okay? I love them, but they're at war. So their management sucks. It stinks. It's terrible. And the management in Japan, they're better than the management in the USA, but they're still making bad decisions when it comes to designing the camera. All right, so that was 19. Okay, and that was that it is friendly with third market lenses. And number 20 of my list of top 10 favorite things is the Nikon lenses themselves, not third party, are top drawer lenses. I mean, we're talking like Leica and Zeiss and L lenses. We're talking that level of quality for the Nikkor branded lenses. So that is my top 10 list, which has gotten expanded to 20. I'll probably join some of these together before I make the video next week for my channel. So I got 2 videos that's going to come down the pike. One is my favorite top 10 features on the Nikon Z6 Mark III. And my top 5 features that need attention. Okay? So since I've been doing all the talking, let's come over here and see where I left you guys in the dust. Hal is saying hi to everybody. Hi, Hal. How you doing? Love you, buddy. Thank you for coming in. Let me find where I am. All right, I'm on the Panasonic. Here is Jim. Love you, Jim. Good evening, Peter and all. Good audio here. Happy Friday. Sammy says, new haircut. Oh, you noticed. Yep. Got a new haircut. I got it washed. I washed my whole body. I went in the shower. I learned how to take a shower after so many years. I'm clean. You can eat off of me. That sounds gross. Okay, so Sammy noticed my new haircut. Oh, Sammy's going to fall asleep while he's watching. He didn't take a nap today. Sammy is an old man in a young man's body. He takes his naps. And he'll call me to tell me I'm taking my nap, Peter. So he didn't take his nap today. Gregory says, yes, it does. Greg, I've talked so much I forgot what I was talking about for you to answer me. For yes, it does. But I believe you. I want you to know I believe, yes, it does. And you know what? I'm going to remember in a minute or two what we were talking about. So I'm the one that's going to come across looking like a dope. Mookie says, I'm wanting a crossover episode of both Peter's and Sly's shows so we get a double dose of both on the same night. You got that tonight. Sly is actually going to go in a little more than 30 minutes, 35 minutes. She's going to go live because she moved the show from Thursday to Friday. What am I stepping on? Oh, a wire. You notice I put new wheels on this chair? Whee! It doesn't stop when I roll. Oops, better not show you. I'm wearing my shorts on the bottom half and my fancy shirt on the top half. Not my underwear. Shorts. Regular shorts. Khakis. Okay. Stand up and prove it? No. I'm not going to do that. I think Mookie likes Sly. I'm picking on you, Mookie. That's because I love you and I can. I said we can call, but harder to talk in the later of the night. Boy, you messed that sentence up, but I get what you mean. Look, Sammy, if you're sleepy and you got to go to bed because you didn't take a nap, go to bed, buddy. I love you. Get whatever you need to hug and fall asleep. It's fine. Not a problem. We'll talk tomorrow, okay? Randy says, probably got an Apple update, folks. Did Apple do an update? I don't think. Maybe they did, Randy. I get my news from Randy. He tells me what's going on and what I should and shouldn't do. Lewis is here. Now, Lewis will be on tomorrow night. See, we got quite a lineup. All of us are like one big family. We love each other. We take care of each other. And I like to give props, build up, and encouragement to everybody. Because when I'm gone, I'm 71. I'll be 71 in a month or so, a couple of months. In October, so it's a few months. My voice will be gone on Earth. I'm sure God's going to go like, oh no, here he comes again. Peter talks and he never shuts up. Hi, Lewis. Good to see you, buddy. Sammy says, I need some camera advice. All right, well, tell me about it, Sammy. I downloaded footage from the ProRes RAW on the Atomos recorder with the FX30. Online test clip. It worked pretty good, but it has less control than the Red. Okay, I can tell you where the answer is on that, okay? It's not the Red or the FX30, all right? It's ProRes ProRes RAW has less controls than full RAW. So on the Red Komodo camera, which Sammy's in love with, okay, it is full-fledged RAW, the full deal. You can change the ISO, you could change the dynamic range, whatever you could do in RAW on a regular camera, you can do in RAW on the Komodo. Now Sammy's going like, oh no, maybe now I want the Red Komodo. So since I'm so far behind, Randy is telling me that I lost sound, but it's fixed again. But thank you guys. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. See, you got my back. That's the purpose of friends. I kind of lose you every once in a while because I don't know where I am. Okay. So I'm muted and now I'm unmuted. I'm an unmuted person. Randy says, Canon R6 has you on mute on the revolving cameras. Yep. You guys figured it out before I even told you. Isn't that cool? And Lewis figured it out too. That scene was muted. Something I must have done at some point. And you know what? I can't figure out why I would have muted it. There must have been a reason. Oh well. We'll find out in 1,000 years or so. Sammy says, do I get the Red since it has more control in the RAW, or get the Atomos recorder for 500? Trying to think what to do. Bum 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 ba da 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 dum. Okay, so why don't you guys give Sammy some advice? Should he get the Atomos where he doesn't have as much control because the RAW on ProRes, on any camera that has ProRes, doesn't allow certain things to happen? Or does he get the Red Komodo? Now the Red Komodo is completely manual focusing, but Sammy does not seem to have any problem doing manual focusing. So let's speed it up because I'm at 11 o'clock already. I have more control with the Red in Adobe. Yeah. And here's Roy. Z6 III is a great camera, but I'm happy with the Z8, the Z9, the Z12, the Z42, the Z66, because I'm in kangaroo land. Roy, I'm so happy to see you. Love you, buddy. Just know you are loved. Yeah, the The Z63 is the guy, and when you look at these wars and they're in on their horses and they've drawn their swords, the Z63 is the leader. It's the one that's going to sword fight with the Canon R6 and with the Panasonic S5. And which would I rather have? Honestly, what camera would I rather have? I mean, I have them all, so don't feel like I'm, hurting for one. But let's say I had to give up a line. I'm not gonna sync any line. I would give up one of the cameras in here for the Nikon Z63. It's a thriller. It's a nail biter. Randy says he likes it. He recognized my haircut too. I appreciate it. And Sammy says Peter is a hugger. Yep, he was here. He got hugged plenty. Plenty of hugs. I hate to say it, Sammy, but you're a hugger too. Rakesh is here. Hi, Rakesh. And he's saying hi to Roy. Thank you, Rakesh. That's very, very nice. We do want to give special attention to Roy because he's been through the woods lately. And now he's getting back in with us, which is awesome. But let's keep him in our prayers, okay? He says, good evening, Randy and Peter. Hi, Rakesh. Love you, buddy. And Sammy says Peter is a hugger. Oh, he corrected his spelling. Okay, got it. Sammy, you're a hugger too. It's a good thing to be. So Randy is saying hi back to Rakesh. And Roy is saying hi to Rakesh. Be terrible if I'm mispronouncing your name, right, Rakesh? And Roy is saying hi to Randy. And Roy finally got around to little old Peter, last on the list. Okay, let's get past the highs, okay, because I'm running out of time. I got to get off before Sly gets on. Sammy is correcting me. I'm not a kid, Peter. I'm a young man. Yes, you are. You are absolutely a young man. But you're a kid to me because I love you, okay? But that doesn't mean I disrespect you. You're a young man, absolutely. Roy says, Sammy, us old guys, us geezers, think of anyone under 30 as a kid, and that's true. I mean, I get people that say, I'm not a kid. I'm not a child. Yes, you are. When you're 71 years old, you're a child. Docking is, we are young brothers, Sammy. There you go. Sammy is laughing. Docking, you're giving your age away. So another young guy in the room. I love you young guys, actually. Docking and Friedman recording. We are younger brothers. Oh, now I know who that is. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Sammy, for letting me know who that is. I didn't know who it was, but now I do. So, yes, he's the same age as Sammy. I should be a detective on the police force. I still don't understand. Hold on, I'll get it. Golly gee whiz, Batman. I still don't understand what a partial stack sensor is. I'll repeat it. Instead of the entire sensor being stacked, they only stacked the top, left the middle alone, and stacked the bottom. Now, I didn't say you have to agree with it, okay? I'm just explaining it. There's a difference. Because somebody would say, why would they do that? Why didn't they just stack the entire thing? For heat purposes, for cost purposes, for not, or let's reverse that last one I haven't even said, for maintaining a high level of dynamic range. When you get the stack sensors, sometimes you get a hit below the belt. You take a hit in your dynamic range. Look at the dynamic range charts that Gerald Undone did. They come out very, very, very positive. Okay? So there's a very big, huge advantage for the stack sensor. I'm sorry, for the partially stacked sensor. They get the stuff off faster, but not as fast as if it was a full stack sensor. So I guess what begs the question is, well, why didn't they make it a full stack sensor? It's going to raise the price, okay, which is huge. It's going to lower the dynamic range, which there's some people out there that go, yep, dynamic range this, dynamic range that. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, okay? The dynamic range on all these cameras is so far above what you can expect or think. But if you have a YouTube channel, you gotta spout off. So you're gonna pick on dynamic range. You're gonna pick on stupid things. I even do that. Hopefully that helped. They could have put fully stacked at 24.5. It would not affect Z8 or Z9, but it may affect the A7 III. Okay, so that's, see, Randy's got a different point of view. That's not mine, but he's got a different point of view. They took the camera and purposely tweaked it forward on the quality, the speed, and the rolling shutter by creating that design. That's what they targeted. Speed, rolling shutter, dynamic range, and then you've got to balance that with price. Okay? I think they did a great job. My opinion. My opinion. Might not be the same as your opinion. Okay, Sammy says, don't forget, Eleanor. I named Eleanor because it started with an E. Okay, Sammy, you get the award for naming my camera Eleanor. Okay, sweetheart? That is your prize, young man. Sammy is the one that named it. Bum. You got a thing about you. We all know that Eleanor, she is so swell. Z7 Mark III is what I meant. You know, I thought that and I didn't even say it. So that's two old mouths. Okay? I'm not gonna say my mouth is getting old. Ron says there are 3 user modes on the dial, are easier than banks. Randy, how many presets are on the ZF? I don't have the camera in hand anymore. I think it's more than 3. But if it's not, when we get over to the Fuji, it's got 6. Okay? So it's a legitimate gripe. It's not something to not buy the camera for. Golly gee whiz, but, you know. But I think just looking at the dial layout, here's my Z6 Mark Nothing. Okay, so the Z6 Mark Nothing, it has 3. And there's enough room in there to add another 3. Okay. So that was a cost-cutting thing. They could have put more on there. So when I have my list of things, of 5 things that need attention, I'm going to name that. It's something for me to talk about. I have to make a video, okay? And it's not like a punch that's going to hurt anybody. Most people will, right over their head, they could care less. That's the best kind of negative thing to say. Okay, Randy's pointing out another thing. I don't have a pen. On the front of the camera, okay, there's 2 function buttons. Which camera am I on? Okay. Can you see in that hole? They removed those. Okay, and on the Z6 Mark III, they put them back. I think that's what Randy's trying to say. So you get extra function buttons again on the Z6 Mark III. That's something that they did not have to do. I hope I can remember that, because that's a plus. Not a major plus, but it's a nice thing to point out. Bop, bop, bop. Hey, Woody, I was talking about you a little while ago. And Ron is saying hi to Woody. Woody's talking to Ron. I'm flipping back and forth between David Sailors and PG. Who's PG? Anything interesting there? David is on. Hi, David. If you're watching over here, David, how you doing, buddy? You used to come in and say hello. What happened? You just dropped me like a hot potato. Was it something I said? I know I said something insulting, didn't I? That Peter. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, here's an FX30 lover. Mr. FX30. He's saying hello, everybody. Somebody's having a little party. Somebody's having a little party over there. What he says, Peter, he just uses my menu for the items he needs most. Where are we? Over there. And I think that's what everybody else does too. I know I do that. I put the format in there and the things that I can't find. But no, that doesn't excuse them, Woody. Not giving them a free pass. This little thing right here, I could say, here, hey, Beery, where is the app to do this? Or, hey, Beery, call Woody, and it'll dial you. $2,500, and I can't talk to it. It's legitimate. We're in the age of the computer, guys. We're not in the age of the telephone anymore. I think my voice is about to give out. All right, so now I just want to say hi to some people I haven't mentioned and log off because my voice is giving out. Norm is saying Merry Christmas, Peter, and Gregg is around the world. Hi, Norm. I love you, and everybody else loves you. And Randy's saying, I love Peter's blue shirt coloring on Eleanor. Yeah, it does kind of look nice. Eleanor is my favorite camera. That doesn't mean I have a dislike for any other camera. So this is not one has to win for the other to lose, okay? Oh, and here's Sly. So she'll be coming up in like 16, 17 minutes. And we're all going to go over there. And she's going to be, see where it says Sly Reader? With a wrench? That's her channel. Sly Reader. Memorize that. Because when I go off just in a few minutes, I'm going over there. And I'll be typing in just like the rest of you guys. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, I have to say hi to Jimmy. Okay, so I didn't say hi to Jimmy. Good evening, Peter. How you doing, Jimmy? Bum, bum, bum. Mookie says that the Z63 saves images taken up to 1 second prior. Only 1 second? I said 1 minute. Wow, what a big difference. When shooting JPEGs up to 60 frames per second, I think. That could be a lifesaver. The winning image could be in the one that you missed. So Sly is telling Randy that's up to Scott. I ate a QT tonight. What's a QT? Okay, you guys need to not make me hungry. Oh, look who's listening. Aiden, how you doing, Aiden? Where's my bear? Oh, I lost track of him. Aiden, are you being a good boy? Aiden is Luis's son. And he's one of my friends. So I'll take the opportunity to say hi to Aiden. How you doing, big boy? Are you playing with your toys, Aiden? Are you being a good boy? Are you being a boy for Daddy, Aiden? Huh? Are you going to come and see me? I miss seeing you, Aiden. Aiden, I have a question for you. Are you playing your piano? I know someone bought you a special piano, and you do very good on that piano, Aiden. You need to play the piano more. I want to hear you play the piano, Aiden. Okay, buddy? All right, you be a good boy, Aiden. I love you, buddy. I love you. Bye-bye. I like to say hi to Aiden. Bum, bum. Randy's talking to Sly. If nobody brings any food to this live stream, you just have to go to McDonald's. He's going to bring food over to Sly's. Philip says, feeling better, Peter? Yes. Although I've been talking for an hour and 15 minutes now, so my throat is starting to get scratchy. I want to get one of those Nikon Z6 IIIs also. I don't know if I put it in the description, but if you guys are going to sign up to be on the list, use my link. It helps me. It really does. Love you, Philip. Thank you for coming in. And I'm going down. Scotty says, oh, he brought something I really like. Watermelon, honeydew, cantaloupe, grapes, fresh cherries. The only thing you're missing is cheese. If you've never had cheese with watermelon, wow, you are missing out. Here's my buddy, my best Lazuka buddy in the whole wide world. Love you, Peter and friends. I love you too so much, Louis. I love you. All right, Scott got a good one here. I'm going to have to remember this one. This morning I made breakfast on my dynamic range. You get the funny quote for the night. No user modes on the ZF. Oh, I think Steven's right. Hi, Steven. I think you're right. It has no presets. Oh, my God. I can't believe I didn't remember that. That was one of the things that I said, oh, they saved that for the Z6 III, and by golly, they did. Thanks for straightening that out. Steven, you're a gentleman and a scholar. I don't care what people write about you. I don't believe any of it. Thank you for bringing that out. I don't know. Randy's saying, I don't know, but I've been told. But on several other cameras, 3 each for camera and video. But the ZF has black and white also. Enjoy your weekend, all. I'm getting a little message. Time to go, Peter. Don't walk all over Sly. Phil says, can the Z6 III get major updates? Yes. No, but Nikon does do... Sony's the one that doesn't do very much in terms of firmware updates. But Nikon, even Canon does them, not as often as they should, but Nikon is good. Panasonic is great. Scotty says, I can talk to my camera. However, it just simply ignores me. Scotty, you're on a roll tonight, buddy. Phil, Randy's talking to Phil. And Steven says, hugs from New York City. Is New York City still in the United States, or did it secede, Steve? I'm joking. I like to joke. Don't get offended. Okay, I'm getting the signal from Randy. He's doing... It's time to go. I've got the signal from Randy. We have to head on over to Sly. No user modes for the ZF. Boy, you guys got me good tonight on that one. All right, on that note, guys, I would sit and ramble for another 3 or 4 minutes because that's the kind of guy I am. But my throat is really getting itchy. I feel like I want to launch into a nice cough, but I'm not going to indulge it. I'm going to make the cough suffer. All right, you guys get yourselves a cup of tea. I'll see you over at Sly's in 9 minutes, whatever that is. Thank you for being here with me. I love you. I look forward to spending time with you because you guys, if my mood is down or something, you bring me up. And that's a good thing. I like it. All right, on that note, see you next Friday, if God is willing and the bridge isn't up. We will go out on the Fuji. Remember to click the link because it'll help me. They'll take my number at B&H and say someone came from Peter's number. So I do need that help. All right. Love you guys. Bye.